Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bulls TV. My name's Jake Tong. Very fortunate today to be joined by AFC Mansfield gaffer Matt Chatfield. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad, Jake. How are you?
Oh, mate, living the dream, aren't we all? So let's just talk about how you are. Obviously, lockdown, the third coming of lockdown. How you finding it?
Yeah, good, mate. A little bit different. Obviously, my other job at Forest, that's not carried on. So it's, no football at all again, which is, it seems to be the normal at the moment. But all things considered, myself and my family is safe. So that's all I really care about at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, this lockdown seems a bit more stricter than the last one with the football stopping. Is it weird not going to football every weekend and every Tuesday night like we have been, for the last 6 months or so?
Yeah, I think I'm getting withdrawal, so I'm getting in my car and driving somewhere. So I don't think the car's moved for a couple of weeks now. So yeah, it's a little bit different. But like I say, this virus is getting a hold of everyone, and I'm very with my mum's business that she's got. I see the massive risks of what happens if we break these rules. So making sure that we stay safe is just the main priority.
Yeah, obviously there's news of the vaccines that are being rolled out across the country. Do you feel like that's going to, eventually help us get back to playing football?
Yeah. Well, touch wood, I'm going for my vaccine tomorrow morning. So.
Oh,
Uh,
fingers crossed then, that.
Yeah, see if the snow doesn't stop it.
Right, so let's just talk a little bit about the season thus far. Obviously, we're sat in sixth, played nine, won five, drawn two, lost two. There's whole talk around the league. Obviously, the league might be cancelled and the league might be finished. What are your thoughts on that sort of situation?
Yeah, somebody asked me the other day, and listen, anyone who's in football wants to play every day of every week. Nobody's disputing that. I just can't be doing with the stop start of what's happening and the unknown. It's so hard as a manager to get players fit and ready for a game on Saturday when you only get told the Thursday before. And I think that's when other injuries and things like that happen. You know, it's just not safe at the moment. And as much as I'd love, if somebody said to me now, "Are you playing Saturday?" That's been okay by the FA, then yeah, brilliant. I can't wait to that happen. But I think we've just got to be a bit more realistic, and we've got to make sure it's safe to play again.
Yeah, obviously, there's talks of points per game going on this season. Obviously, with us only playing 9 games, we've not even played half the league yet as it stands. That would surely be a bit of a weird way to end the season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've seen things flying about social media about having it as a last season and this season combined, which obviously our results are chalk and cheese from last season to this season. So it'd be unfair on clubs like us, but teams like Liverpool, Yorkshire Amateurs, Bridlington, Staveley, the ones that have been consistent. Yeah, if that's how it goes and that's what the FA decide, and I'd back it 100% because teams like that they do deserve to go up. But I think for us this season, we gave ourselves a real good chance to be in the mix, and it would be a shame if that's how it goes. But I think it's just rumor in the sky. But I think it's got to be finished this season, from what I'm being told from other people. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, but let's just see. No matter what I say, it's something different.
Yeah, obviously, let's just sort of look into this season and thus far. It's been a campaign, even though we've only played 9 league games and the cup games and all that. We've had quite a lot of highlights and quite a lot of lowlights. Let's start on the bad one. In terms of lowlights of the season, what have you sort of felt have been, the low points? Obviously, I feel like you might talk about that last minute equaliser at Maltby as being one of them.
Yeah, to be fair, there's obviously the 4 games that we've lost points in is disappointing. Yorkshire Amateurs, first game of the season, we're 10 men, 90th minute, we concede with the first real shot in the box, and disappointing to lose that game. But you think 10 men against what should be the top of the league, you take it. Then you go to Maltby, really frustrating because I think it was a game of two halves. We've absolutely dominated for the first half. Second half, they've come out the traps. And how we've conceded the goal in the last minute is with Hugo getting Simbin at the same time and not having a goalkeeper in there. Yeah, that was a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
But really, for us, I'd take them too if we'd have got 6 points the last time we played against Hemsworth and Silsden, because we were aiming for 6 points there. And for me, we never really found a right gear to play. when we were playing Garforth and Penistone before that, when we were really flying and scoring goals, never looked like we were going to concede. And then we went there, we played those two teams, and credit to them, they both had a game plan and they were very good and they deserved points against us, both teams. We weren't good enough to win those games. But for me, that's more the disappointing ones.
I seem to remember after the Maltby game, I was sort of a little bit cautious to drag you out and ask for your views on it, because obviously it was such a bizarre circumstance with Hugo getting sin bin despite the rules weren't clear. But let's we'll try to forget about those disappointing results. But obviously there's been a lot of highlights. The club went on a really good FA Cup run, ending at Boston United. What other, apart besides the cup run and those 5 wins in the league, what's been your favourite moment?
For me, it's getting that buzz back into AFC Mansfield. I think, somebody mentioned that our fan percentage has got up 25%, which is amazing. It's great to see fans getting on board with non-league football. Granted, our gate entry isn't massive and we haven't got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people like other clubs, but we rely on the few that come in and support us.
Yeah.
So we hope that can continue. That's a big highlight. Getting a 21 set up this season, massive highlight for the club. And making the renovations on and off the pitch. I think we've got a strong squad, got a lot of experience in there. The dressing room is what I believe a football dressing room should be. There's a lot of experience mixed in with younger players. So that's brilliant for us as a club. And it all sets us now. We've got a foundation in the staff that we've got on board now, even down to the voluntary roles like yourself and John, who do a fantastic job with the media. We've got so many people now connected with the club where when I first joined, I felt we're a little bit disjointed. So for me, that's a massive highlight of us, that it's took us a year and a half and we've managed to get AFC Mansfield back together and as a real club now instead of just a team.
Yeah, obviously I feel like it would be a disservice to the cup run to not mention it. The game at Cleethorpes, particularly stood out to me. Obviously being from Lincolnshire, but that to go to a team that were a league above, and we had to really put our backs against the walls, and it was sort of a smash and grab, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, all the games were a little bit different. You got the Sherwood games where it was just a local derby and everyone was wanting to get into it. We had a large fan base that come down and watch the game, which was amazing under this climate. And it was a proper end-to-end game. Anyone could have really won it in that kind of cup game. And fortunately it was us. I think we had enough about us to win the game. So that was fantastic, which led us on then to the Cleethorpes game, which, we spent a lot of time and effort planning that, knowing what players they were going to play. It took us a lot of time on the training ground to make sure we had our system ready. We rested Ross Duggan for that game because we really had a game plan of how we were going to try and beat them. But yeah, we wanted to score early and do what Bruno used to say. That's how he made his living: go 1-0 up and defend for the rest of the time. So yeah, that felt an amazing win, to be honest.
And then you go on to the game against Gainsborough, who obviously they're a team that are quite well established in terms of non-league. They reached a non-league North playoff final a few years ago, losing out. They're a well-run club, and they came down, and we put them to the sword a little bit, and we showed them that AFC Mansfield aren't just going to stand there and be rolled over.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it was a great performance from the team. It was a little bit shell-shocked at one point when we went 2-0 up, and I was thinking, we're not going to lose this game here. We just look like we're the better team all around on the pitch. There was nothing that was going to scare us, and that was a credit to the lads. They did the game plan again, and we just worked harder than them, and we scored at the right times. And it's all about the 1% in football. I talk to all my team about it and everybody around it. They hate me when I talk about the 1%, but scoring at the right times, doing things at the right areas will give us those 1% to win the game. And yeah, that game was just, the second half was a joy just to be able to watch it and just manage the game through it, but not have that adrenaline like we did from the Cleethorpes game, which was crazy.
Yeah, and then obviously we had the tie with Boston. Played at the Northome, which was a bit strange, but that would have been a really good occasion for the club to have its supporters. Go away to Boston. That would have been a really good occasion for those supporters, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's the only shame for me is how much work and effort and time that we put into that cup run to then, play at Gainsborough Town, which was, the facility itself at Gainsborough is fantastic. Not knocking that, but it would have been great to go to Boston's new ground and play them in our own rights down there. So yeah, it's disappointing, but I think we gave a really good account for ourselves there. We conceded 2 silly goals, which I'm disappointed with now because of how much we got back into the game. But the credit to the lads, they never gave in. We scored 2 good goals. One of them penalty claims we've hit the post. We were at times could have scored 4, but then at times they could have scored 10. So 4-2 is a probably the right scoreline, and it reflected the game that it was end to end. It wasn't just one way traffic. So if we were going to go out, I don't mind going out to Boston United in the FA Cup.
Yeah, let's talk about your players then. Obviously, there'll be players that draw a lot of attention. Ross for his goals, Hugo for his clean sheets. But I'm sure that as a manager of the football club, you'll be happy with every single member of your squad that's played a role this season.
Yeah, we were talking about it at the start of the season, and we knew exactly who we wanted. We made sure we got those players in early, and we've got a very small squad compared to other teams, which we thought might hinder us, but it seemed to not, touch wood. We've got some great players in there. Hugo's come back to some great form. We've just managed to sign Dan Wallace for a bit, just while Hugo's got his tattoo, which we weren't happy about at the time. Signing people like Josh Wilde has been, what a great signing that's been for the club. We've got Jack Harrison and Matty still, and JJ, who's on fire. We've just signed Ross Killock from Hammers, which is, another fantastic signing, one for the future for the club that we're looking for, not just this season, but next. You've got Marsden, fan favourite. It's come back to the club, and it gives us that 7, 8 out of 10 every game. And you go into the midfield, and there's so many different formulations that you can put in there. You've got Sykesy, Bucko, JD, Morgs, which has been a real highlight for us. Sometimes Linney, whether he's not liked it or not. And then, the attacking options, when you've got Ross Duggan in your side and an on-fire Ross Duggan, he can score at any moment of any game, which always means we've got a man advantage at times when he's on it. So, and he's showed, with already his goals that he scored this season, that he can score and do it for any time, any place. And then you've got Sykesy up there, Linney, Walks. So, we've got people like Sloaney that came on in the FA Cup and scored that great header against Boston in the FA Cup. So you've got young lads like Pipesy, Robbo coming in from the 21s. It's great, to be honest, that we didn't have that kind of that team morale is massive for us.
Yeah.
They're all together now. And also we've got a good bunch of lads that can all play football because we've changed the style a little bit. We want to be able to play, understanding where and when, and credit to them, the lads have got on board with it, and we did have a really good start to the season, and we just wanted to carry that on now, moving the ball really well and exciting fans, which is what we want. More bums on seats. We want people to watch how well this team can play, how many goals, excite games, and that's what we want to do. Just try and bring the joy back to it.
Because towards the end, obviously, your side were playing some, really good football. I think away at Handsworth when Stan was in charge, it was, some really good football that night.
You picked that one,
yeah. When you were in the dugout, they played really well, actually. But yeah, obviously, you must be excited that, especially these prospects from the 21 like Pipes and Robbo. You must be excited for the future of the club as well. And all these players were sort of hitting form, JJ and everybody at the back, they were playing really well. And you must really want to continue that season and see how far these players can go and test themselves.
Yeah, exactly. You've got people like Pipesy that's, baby to it all. And you've got people like JD and Ben Algar that are of that age that they're just teaching them, and there's no animosity within the group. It doesn't matter who's in, who's where. Every lad's obviously they're disappointed whoever's not on the pitch and that, but they don't. It's all for the best of the team, and that's what we wanted. That bit of camaraderie where it's all about the team, and that's what we wanted from the team. There's no I's, there's only we's, and how we going to do whatever we do against other teams.
Let's talk about then, how difficult your job's going to be as it is at the minute in terms of planning for whether this season is going to go ahead or whether next. How difficult of a position are you currently in terms of are you going to be able to finish this season and are you going to be able to bring players in now, or do you have to wait and speak to players in the summer? How difficult is your job at the minute?
Yeah, it's so difficult because it's the unknown and nobody likes the unknown. Everybody's used to what a football season looked like, so everyone knows what they're doing. But now with this, we don't know if we're going to finish the season. We don't know if we're going to start in February. We don't know if we're going to start in March. We don't know if we're going to start again. Is this the end of the season and we're going to get a full season out of it next season? We just don't know. Are we? It's so hard to try and come around to the idea because we don't know what's happening. There's nobody. For me, it needs somebody to come out now and tell us how it's going to be and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the league itself, the NCL, are in a bad place because they can't make a decision without somebody being unhappy with them.
Yeah.
So we don't want to add to that. We've got our opinions and we keep it close to our chest, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you can see it all on social media at the moment. Somebody's got an opinion and other people have not got their opinion, and it just causes friction, and we don't like that. We just want to see what happens and try and plan from there. But it's so difficult to get the players ready to play 90 minutes. I was saying to you earlier, getting told on the Thursday you're playing the Saturday after and making sure everybody's 90 minutes fit. It was hard, and fair play to the teams Hemsworth and Silverstone because they were better prepared than what we were.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of a plan in place now at the moment with all the lads. They've got a little fitness video that they've got to do and send in, which they're not happy with, but we're all going to send a little videos in of them doing the workout so we know they're not cheating. But we're trying to do something a little bit different, trying to make sure that they're ready for if the season resumes or not. We just don't know.
Yeah, well, you'll have to send those videos to the media team. We can put a compilation together like for the gifts. But how do you prepare then for next season? How what do you do as a manager when at this sort of stage of the season where we've only played 9-10 games? How do you prepare? Because you're already looking for next season. What's next? Because that's always the case in football. What's next? We've had this.
Yeah.
How are you?
Exactly.
How are you preparing for the 21-22 season?
Yeah, it's more. We need to know more what's happening first. Once we have a little bit of a general idea, then we can plan from there. I'm hoping the season isn't a write-off, but it all depends for me is what we do as a country with COVID and how we roll the vaccines out. How we're going to be safe because football at the moment isn't safe. You can see it in the Premier League with, I think it was only last week that they had the most spiking COVID cases that there is. So, and if they're not safe with all the millions that they've got, how can we be safe in our little bubble of non-league step 5? So that's got to be a priority for us. But it all depends what the FA say. When are they need to come out and say, this is happening on this date, prepare for this date, and this is the contingency if this doesn't happen. Just so we're all in the boat, so then we all know what we're doing. Because, like you say, we've got people that are out of contract at the end of the season, people that are coming of a certain age, and they might feel that this is their last season, and that's hindered now. And we just need to make sure that ultimately it's got to be safe to return. But we just want it to return. To be honest, we want to play football like everybody else in the country.
Well, thanks for coming on, Matt. We've certainly missed. Seeing each other every week, we certainly missed your post-match reactions. Have you just got a quick message to the club supporters and the volunteers as well at the club?
Yeah, well, listen, I can't thank enough of what everybody's doing behind the scenes. Even taking time out tonight, Jay, yourself and John, taking time out to make sure everyone's updated with as much as possible. The chairman and the directors and the volunteers. I know they've been down there most days now, doing more things to the pitch, the clubhouse, the cabins, doing everything that nobody even sees or does. They just come on Saturday and think, oh, that's new, that's good, isn't it? So to all them, I can't thank you enough because that's what's helping the club reach them 1% and keeping the club as a club instead of a team, like I spoke to you. And to the fans, I can't wait to get back on the pitch, and the lads can't wait to get back on the pitch, and we just want to return and get some excitement back down at Forest Town again.
Well, thanks very much, Matt, for coming on. And thank you, everybody else, for watching. We'll see you next time.